Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you are new to the show or you're a veteran listener, make sure you enable notifications. If you're a YouTube user, click the bell and subscribe. We love hearing from our audience, and one of the best ways to do that is your comments and your subscriptions. Please send us your feedback. Guys, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 every single year for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go to Facebook and check out Wrestler Unstoppable, available now exclusively to Facebook users, and it's totally free. Design a wrestler, create a company, sign contracts, headline pay-per-views, everything in the wrestling business available for free at Wrestler Unstoppable. If you're looking for a new game, families, I know everybody's inside with this COVID-19 thing, then check out Sketchy People by Beazle Games. Click the icon in the middle of our homepage, frowrestling.com, and pick up your copy today. So, today's news. We're going to get right into it. We've got WrestleMania has been moved. Obviously, they canceled the event the other week. Now, everything's been being recorded this week at the Performance Center. Many people have found out that a lot of talents have been moved off the show. Roman Reigns was the biggest name taken out of the SmackDown main event. He is not going to be facing Goldberg. He's being replaced by Braun Strowman. I think this is a great move. Maybe we'll actually get a Braun versus Bray program heading into SummerSlam. I don't know if Braun is ready for the Universal Championship, but why not at this point? Let's give the fans something different. He did pretty well with the Intercontinental title for that limited amount of time he had it. Let's do it again. Let's give him the Universal Championship. He probably should have had it a year and a half ago. So we've got that going on. Cesaro, Murphy, Asuka, The Miz, Dana Brooke, Rey Mysterio, all these people being taken off the show. The Miz was actually sick at the Performance Center, sent home and quarantined, and that's part of what led to Roman Reigns leaving. The Usos were all in an uproar. The Usos, even their match has been changed. Because The Miz isn't going to be there, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match will be a one-on-one ladder match between John Morrison and one of the Usos. I suspect, not that I'm doing predictions, because I'm going to try not to do that this year, but I suspect that one of the Usos will be hiding under the ring or come from behind or something, switch places and win the tag team championship over Morrison once he's getting the upper hand, because that seems like that's the perfect time to pull one of those switch, body double type situations like they've done a million times in the past. The rest of the card, though, looks pretty solid. I know a lot of people are upset about this empty arena thing. You know what? WWE is going out of their way, staggering the recording in different locations to still try to bring us some entertainment, just like AEW has. And I think that's a great thing. They are trying to provide entertainment to the fans during this really challenging time. I've heard some people complain about what they've been putting on Raw and other shows, flashbacks to previous years and things like that. They're trying to fill content time to bring you entertainment while not putting their talent at risk so that they can keep them healthy for when this does go away and they can go back to performing. So let's take it with a grain of salt why they're doing what they're doing. Going to move on. Got to talk about the Vice documentary about Chris Benoit. Part 1, incredible. It was all, it was almost like a combination Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero documentary, the first part, and then the second part delved way into the deep end with all the deep and dark stuff. And if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do that. You can find it on YouTube or go to their webpage. But this was an opportunity for everybody to vocalize how they felt. Every person who had a stake in anything going on during the Benoit tragedy got to say their part. And I think that could only be a good thing for the family, for the friends, for everybody impacted. Even David Benoit, his son, has already said how it's almost like a cleansing for him. He's able to get these things off his chest and really get some closure, which I think is incredibly helpful for someone in these very challenging situations. So good for them. I hope this really was an opportunity for them to try to turn something so dark and so bad into something somewhat more positive, because now they can move forward with these things. But it really was interesting and emotional. Very emotional to see how these people reacted during the taping of this documentary. Got to talk a little bit about Matt Hardy. I loved his debut, which you can see the clip of right here on ProWrestling.com. Loved the debut. What I really loved was week 2, him coming out and doing his whole broken Matt Hardy character with Chris Jericho in the ring. He is on par with some of the greats when it comes to promo work with this broken character. Jericho is one of the all-time elite with the microphone. I don't care who it is. He is able to bring up anybody's performance, and what they're doing with Matt Hardy is incredible. Now, with all that momentum they're building with Matt Hardy, I find it incredibly fascinating that Matt Hardy had it written into his contract that he can perform elsewhere, which means potentially New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe he wants to go check out Ring of Honor or something of that nature. He has the opportunity to work in other places, AAA, go down to Mexico, do some things over in the Middle East, whatever he wants to do, and he's not locked into an exclusive deal with AEW, which I think at this point in time is probably a very good thing. That's awesome that Tony Khan and the management team of AEW have decided to let him do that. And one of the things that I am very excited about this week, Ring of Honor has announced they are looking at doing a full live television show, much like AEW and Raw and SmackDown, and NXT for that matter, every week. And that's something they're looking to roll out this year. Now, I know their operations and their performances are suspended through the end of May. That sucks for independent wrestling, but at the same time, they are preparing for a major launch of a weekly show, and that would mean they're going to need all hands on deck to try to compete with these other companies that have a time slot and have a recurring audience every week. But I think with the quality of the work that Ring of Honor puts out, and if you're watching a show like this, you know this already. Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, AAW, MLW, even AAA to a degree, are putting on incredible wrestling action. And you don't get as much of that in WWE. You get a lot more storylines, but not as much in-ring action. And let's be honest, that's what we're fans of. We want to see the wrestling. We like storylines too, but we really want to see the wrestling. So this could only be a good thing for the business. And the last topic, I just got to throw this out there. I found it to be totally humorous. I thought it was innocent, but I'm sure Vince McMahon was livid. And anything that makes Vince McMahon mad seems to make internet wrestling fans really, really happy. And that's that while Renee Young was recording this week's episode of The Bump from home, co-hosting with Booker T and Xavier Woods, her real-life husband, AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, decided to grab their dog and pop in and mess with her with the dog, trying to get the dog to bark at her face in the middle of her recording, which I thought the best part was Booker T and Xavier Woods' reaction to it, talking about, oh, cameo. It's the first time we've seen Jon Moxley on WWE programming since he was Dean Ambrose and still a part of the Shield. But I thought it was in good nature and good fun, and look, we're smart people at this day and age. In 2020, the cat's out of the bag what wrestling is and how it's put on, and that these people know each other and they're married and all those other things. So for people to act like this is such a big deal, I'm sure Vince was like rolling over, just getting livid that this even took place. But you know what? People like this. It could be a good thing. And he needs to get over his ego anyways. It was reported this week on Wrestling Inc. that, he has made it clear he has no interest in working with CM Punk or Alberto El Patron at any point. That is juvenile, and that is part of why WWE's viewership, their in-house attendance, their live event attendance, they're all down. Yeah, they keep making money because they keep making these billion-dollar deals with companies all over the planet, but that doesn't mean that your product is healthy and doing well. That just means that companies are willing to pay. Well, guess what? If you don't bring the right ratings and you're not generating the right revenue from your live event performances, those ratings will drop. And then you're not going to get your next deal. Now, a lot of people think that Vince McMahon's going to sell before the next deal. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I hope not. And if he does, I hope it's not to like a Disney or something like that, because I don't think they know what to do with the wrestling business. I think that Triple H and Stephanie have put a lot of time and energy into this, and I think they would be the perfect people to take over WWE if Vince decided to step down, but I don't think he should sell. I think that would be a colossal mistake, but the word is he's thinking about that because of where the stock price is at and where the company's performance is ratings-wise and with all these contracts, but we'll have to wait and see. This has been his baby since he was a young man. Now he's in his 70s. I get wanting to take a step back, but you can take a step back without selling, and I'm hoping that's exactly what he does. Write a new will, leave everything to your wife and children and Triple H, and let the business carry on for future generations, because I honestly believe if you turn something like this over to a Disney, some other media conglomerate, no one's going to have the couth or the upbringing or whatever you want to call it, the nurturing in the business to make programming the way WWE does, even if you don't like the way the programming is right now. I think their programming could instantly get an injection of life if Triple H took over all creative. I know he just recently got a demotion a little bit in his position, but the reality is nobody's dumb. Nobody is surprised that Triple H is great at doing what he does, and that maybe Vince needs to give him more responsibility, not less. But in the end, I think giving the company to a Disney or somebody like that would be a colossal mistake. The only person, and it's going to sound strange, but the only person I could see Vince McMahon selling this company to that would make sense and who could foster it the way it need be, ready? Tony Khan and AEW. Can you imagine? Tony Khan has made fun of the way WCW did business. WCW was put out of business and purchased by WWE. Vince McMahon's getting older and decides to sell out. If he were to sell to Tony Khan, really weird symbiont circle going on there. Just my opinion. That's all for this episode. Make sure you check back with us next episode. We'll run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Make sure you check out our homepage at frowrestling.com, where you can see all the topics coming to a future episode. Make sure you swing by and support our sponsors. If you gotta find somebody to take care of those old-fashioned, pinball, skee ball, arcade games, all that stuff, any kind of small electronics like that, AlleyRepair.com is your solution to that problem. Check out Alley Repair today for servicing of all your skee ball and electronic gaming equipment. Make sure you go to www.wrestling.com if you want to support indie wrestling. That's the company I love to plug. Worldwide Wrestling Alliance puts on great shows twice a month at the Quakertown Farmers Market. If you're not in my area, check out my indie events tab on frowrestling.com and find an independent show coming to an area near you. We need to support indie wrestling, especially right now. Some shows are actually starting to run. We heard last week over in Japan, Stardom and companies like that, DDT and Dragon Gate, they're running shows again. Well, some places in the United States are considering doing the same thing. Check it out. Try to support independent wrestling. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.